alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hifz mastery and application to Tajweed. So, there's 8 principles of memorization and familiarization. Okay, those are split into 3. 5 foundations of memorization. 2 keys that develop those foundations. Okay, and 1 mastery tool. The 5 foundations are comprised of 3 senses, which is the tongue. Okay, which is to do with muscle memory, and also strength of the tongue. So muscle memory, yeah, okay. Then you have the ears. That is to do with your auto-correcting rhythm of the sound that you've caused. And hearing also how it feels. Those 2 things. So auto-correcting rhythm just means that you have a rhythm that you've caught in your head. It's a certain wavelength. And so when you hear something, if something goes out of rhythm, your mind catches it. That this is wrong. The rhythm is supposed to be like this, right? The rhythm is a certain way. So when that rhythm gets cut and it's done differently, like if there's an anomaly right in the rhythm, then your mind catches that, right? That's the auto-correction part of the rhythm. And also you can hear how things feel, meaning when you hear something, you can hear how it feels, okay? And you can copy it by how you've heard it due to how you heard how it feels, yeah? Because you can hear the feeling, okay? Now, then thirdly, there's eyes. That is to visualize your page if you're memorizing Quran, or capturing a mental image, right? And we'll link that now later on to how it's applying to Tajweed. Understanding of the heart. Understanding of the heart. So that makes things a part of yourself, okay? Linking similarities with the differences as well, acknowledging the differences. Linking similarities can be done with these 4 principles, right? So you link the similarities in muscle memory, how things feel. You link how this feels to another feeling. It feels the same. Maybe a letter lam appears twice and you feel that it feels the same. This is lam, another lam, right? Or you maybe feel that a certain letter feels like it's in the same place as another letter, right? For example, right? Linking the rhythm. One of them is the same as another rhythm, right? But the differences may be that are different letters. They are different letters and they feel different. For example, the eyes, something might look the same as something else, but they may have differences, right? Understanding, linking between understanding can be making it into like a story, where you interlink one thing, one understanding links to another understanding, links to another understanding, like a story. Okay, that's linking. Linking actually is a very good tool because it skips your need to repeat things and put effort into repetition to memorize. Because when you link something together with another thing, what it means is that you're using something you already know and understand, and linking it to something you didn't understand before, but now you do understand it because of the other thing that you know. So you're putting this one chain and one thing. So it's like the same thing. That thing that was foreign to you is now the same as the thing that you know well. So now you don't have to put effort into knowing it, right? Through your tongue, ears, and eyes. You know, you can know it already through these means because you know them already about the other thing, which you know already, right? Okay. Now, 2 keys that develop these foundations are what? Repetition and time. Okay, repetition is the first key, and that's very important, right? The 2 keys. Time as well. Time is being consistent in structured repetition over time. Okay? For example, salawat. We can do is this method where we utilize our time in a good manner. Okay. Then there is your one mastery tool, which is testing. Testing is looking away from whatever you're trying to memorize or familiarize yourself with, and testing the foundations you built without any help. This increases your mastery of the knowledge by 50%. Okay, so look for the weaknesses that occur when you've tested yourself, and fill in those gaps after you've tested yourself by developing the foundations again, right? And testing again, even without going back to the foundations to repeat the muscle memory or the rhythm or anything. You can test yourself again after noticing those flaws, and it will still be very, very effective, maybe even more effective if you were to go back to the foundations and build them again. Because testing is a very, very, very powerful method of developing mastery over what you've just tried to familiarize yourself with. As you see, it increases your mastery over the content or whatever you're trying to memorize by 50% each time. Each time you find your flaws and you notice your flaws, right? And then you go back to test yourself again. That increases your mastery over 50%. Okay. When it comes to Tajweed, then, the tongue, right? The 5 foundations now. Tongue is looking at the muscle strength, its muscle memory, and how it feels. And that is the main goal when it comes to Tajweed as well. That is to build the muscle strength and memory so that you achieve fluency of letters and Quran. So when it comes to developing letters with the tongue, this is through repetition with an expert, correcting and guiding, developing first familiarization of the mouth, even if you haven't found the letter, recognizing what feels wrong and strainful, like forceful, and recognizing what feels correct and easy, and then strengthening the correct place of the letter. So, an action point for you that throughout the course, the goal of developing new letters is to have a minimum of 1,000 repetitions on the tongue to go through these steps through repetition. Okay? Now, when it comes to the ears are an auto-correcting rhythm of the sound that you caught and hearing how it feels, which is the main avenue of actually learning new letters by imitation. So humans have the ability to copy through hearing, with each movement of the tongue in its different area having a different wavelength of sound. Even though we don't know the theory behind how to say it, we can feel how it sounds, right? This is the strongest when you're young and pure in your hearing, because as letters come to us, for example, C, they'll be copied straight away with the accent we've heard it from. And because we're pure in our hearing. So when you're young, you're not biased to a certain accent, right? But note that also this sound can be pronounced with different parts of the tongue and have slightly different sounds or accents. So whether young or old, we can learn through this avenue. However, at the same time, those who are older have already learned the letter C, for example, will be biased to the way they pronounce it. So they might not notice the difference unless it's outlined by an expert, or if they're really listening attentively. Therefore, it takes an expert to enlighten the student to the different sound, or it takes them to be an understanding of the theory of the letter by other means, which we mentioned already, like listening, feeling, visualization, understanding, to be able to understand the letter. And then obviously to be able to pronounce it. Okay. Number 8. Action point. Listen carefully to the letter when I pronounce it and copy the sound. Or even when we get to the part where I record myself going through the introduction to articulation points and going through how each letter feels and sound, copy. Listen carefully and copy the sounds. And if you can't get it correct, learn and understand the letter through other means, like visualization, etc., of these ones. Then come back and imitate the sound. Come back and imitate the sound by listening. Okay. Now, thirdly, eyes. Visualization and capturing a mental image. Now, we don't need that to be able to say letters. We don't need to think of how it looks, right? Because we're not reading from something. But it helps you to be able to know and understand where in the mouth, throat, the letter comes from. Using references such as the teeth as well to find the place of the letter, for example, if you need that, right? So, action point, understand by looking and analyzing the photos of the letter, right? The diagrams of the articulations, and by monitoring the movements of my own mouth and my jaw, okay, in live visualization. Monitor how I move my mouth and my jaw, so you can know and understand how is this letter emitted properly. Then you have understanding of the heart. Okay. Understanding of a letter when it comes to Tajweed comes through visualization and listening how it feels, right? So that's one point. Then there's the understanding that you need to have that these are the articulations of the Prophet ﷺ. So you should attach your heart to them, right? So understanding doesn't just mean you understand it by memory or your brain, but that you understand it so that it becomes a part of you. So to do that, understand that the Prophet ﷺ had these articulations. Attach yourself to these articulations for that reason. Understand that the correct articulations also, understand that they're easy and natural after practice, and that they increase the flow of recitation, make it easy to flow. And it gets rid of any staggering or stops, or any excess pressure, or any exaggerations. Understanding these points will help you to know what you're doing correctly and what you're doing wrong. Okay, so when you're practicing, this will help you a lot, right? You'll know that, oh, I'm practicing it, but it's not getting any better. It just sounds so harsh and difficult, and there's nowhere that it's going. It's not going anywhere. So it might be wrong. In all likelihood, it probably is wrong. So then you need to practice what else there is to experiment more. Okay. But there's sometimes also it's just the fact that your tongue isn't strong enough. So sometimes your tongue isn't strong enough, so you need to do some more repetitions and get your tongue to be stronger to be able to say the letter. So not always is it that it will be the wrong place if you're staggering still. It might mean you need a bit more practice. Okay. So that's why I said it's easy and natural after practice. Okay. So that's what it needs to be looked for when finding a letter. Okay. Now, action point is understand the letter through all means, through the senses, right? Through the senses, through relation to the Prophet ﷺ. So understand its relation to the Prophet ﷺ, and understand that their ease and flow, right? You understand that they're easy and flowing when they practice correctly. Okay. 5. Linking similarities with principles 1 to 4. And acknowledging the differences. So when it comes to tongue, linking the feeling of one letter to another, especially in one group of letters. For example, the letters of the middle of the tongue has 3 letters, right? That's 3 letters, Ya, Shin, and Jim. How do they feel different? What's different about them? Why are they in the same place? How are they in the same place? So, being able to pronounce one due to knowing another. Okay? If you know where one is, and you felt the middle of the tongue, you know the middle of the tongue is there. If you know what the difference is between that letter and the next one, right? You've already got the right place. So you can just change that, tweak it, and then you will know the next letter too. See? That's how you can do linking with the tongue. Eyes. linking what the tongue looks like between letters and what it does similarly and differently, especially in one group of letters, right? For example, the letters of the middle of the tongue, what are they doing differently? What are they doing differently? Maybe, for example, ya is less raised than shin, or has a big cavity. We will get into that later on, right? Therefore, being able to pronounce one due to knowing another one, right? If you knew ya, you can pronounce shin due to this understanding. Ears. How do they sound similar and what are the differences, especially in one group of letters? For example, the whistling letters, sin and zai. What is different between them? They're from the same place. S, z, s, z, s, z. Same place. But what's different? Difference is the vocal cords are vibrating or not. So you know how to pronounce one if you know the other. One is just a, s. And the other one you have to involve your vocals. S, s, s. Then you know how to pronounce one due to another. Understanding. Linking the ears of one letter to another to check if you found the correct articulation. E.g., is it easy to say meme? Okay. Is my ha this easy? Ha, ha, ha. Is it or not? If it's not, then maybe it's wrong. Because it should be as easy as meme. Right? It should be natural and easy. So is my ha this easy? No. If not, then what's wrong? What do I need to do to develop it? Therefore, there you go. You can pronounce one due to another, and develop one letter due to knowing another letter. There you go. Action point. Link letters using their similarities and identifying their differences to be able to pronounce one due to knowing another. Okay? Now, the two keys. Repetition. The first key for developing foundations. Repeat letters and recitation of specific sounds with each sense, and most importantly, the tongue. Right? So I focus on each sense or each sense when you're repeating. I focus on the sound when you're doing repetitions. What does it sound like? Is it sounding correct? Is it sounding wrong? Focus on how it feels with tongue. Is it feeling correct? Is it feeling wrong? So when you're repeating, you need to focus on these things. Okay? And even the visualization of it. Visualization in my mouth. Where's my tongue going? Is it going the right place? Right? Do repetitions with that, with knowing what it looks like. You must do repetitions in this manner to be able to do it correctly, and then advance yourself and progress, and then come back to the expert. He'll correct you, and practice like this. Then there's time. Consistent, structured repetition over time is the second key. It must be over time because your mouth is developing familiarization with the letter. So you must be over time. So action point 1, expect the progress with practice and over time. Okay. It must be over time. Okay. So don't be frustrated and impatient if you don't yet see results. It just means either you need more reps or it needs more time. With reps, of course. Action point 2, apply this to your technique in your memorization, okay, the Q&A. Okay. So using these tools, okay, use it in memorizing, okay. And I want you to use your understanding most when it comes to the Q&A. And I want you to say it from yourself. Don't say it by repeating your muscle memory, no. Nor your rhythm, no. I want you to be able to memorize the Q&A by using your understanding. For example, repeat the Q&A, focusing on using one of the foundations, using understanding in one sitting 50 times. using what? Repetition, right? The key. Repetition 50 times. Then go over the Q&A with 1 rep 7 more times spaced out throughout the day. That's utilizing time. During each salah, for example, which is 5, plus Ishraq and Qiyam, which is 2, i.e. 7 in total. This method is called salawat, which was mentioned in the beginning. Okay, and this is very good in terms of making your processing of the information easy. Even if it was weak in the beginning of the day, if it was weak in the beginning of the day, it will get stronger by the end of the day if you do it 7 times spaced out like this. Then also you can also strengthen it more by repeating it the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day for 4 to 7 days. That will make it get into your long-term memory. Okay. Now, I want you to memorize, remember what I just said there and apply that. Okay, inshallah, to your questions and answers. Mastery tool, testing, looking away and testing the foundation you built without any help. Without any help. That is a key thing. Without any help. Then you identify weaknesses in it and you test yourself again. Okay. So if you're memorizing the Q&A using linking and understanding, make the questions and answers follow each other in a way that makes sense to you, like a story. Then look away and test memory, how much you can say without looking at it, and it increases your mastery of knowledge by 50%. Look for the weaknesses, fill those gaps in, right, of the weaknesses by developing the foundations or testing again. Okay, even if you don't go back to your foundations, just test again and again, and don't feel shy to test yourself and get things wrong, because that will be a learning curve, and it really does build your mastery of the subject by testing yourself in that way. Don't care about any weaknesses. The point is to find those weaknesses. So don't think if you're getting things wrong, don't feel bad about that. You're trying to find yourself where you're wrong, and then test yourself again and improve them. Action point, this is for mastering memorization of theory. Test without looking with time and repetition for testing. Okay, now these are the questions for this lesson. Inshallah. Thank you for listening. That's all for now.